All right, so we're in Mark 1, all right? Very first chapter of Mark. We're going to talk about leprosy. Who knows what leprosy is?
I don't know.
A sickness.
It's a sickness, very good. But it's
Yeah.
any sickness. This thing was awful, all right? You want to see some pictures of leprosy? It's kind of gross. Give me 1 second.
Show it.
All right, leprosy was a flesh-eating bacteria. You see it?
Oh.
It eats away your skin. And so your skin just falls apart, your nose falls apart. Look at it, his fingers are coming off. This is leprosy, right?
That's horrible.
Yeah, look at makes me want.
Gross and horrible. Ugh.
Now I cannot see
You can't see, what can you see?
nothing. I only see a whiteboard.
Huh?
I cannot see nothing.
Let's try again.
Oh my god, that was so horrible.
How about now?
No.
Well, just look up leprosy, all right?
I think it's your internet.
So it's just a skin-eating disease. It's gross. All right?
Really gross.
Well, okay, so at that time, if you had leprosy, you were dead. That's the truth. If you had leprosy, you were gonna die. Like, there's no options. What you would do is you'd go off to a place by yourself with other people who had leprosy. And if you had to walk somewhere, you had to shout, unclean, 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 which means everyone stay away from me. I'm unclean. I have leprosy. All right? Now, imagine the situation you would feel. Like, if you all of a sudden just started seeing your flesh get eaten, they would know you have leprosy. You're dead. You go by yourself. You don't see your family anymore. You don't see your friends anymore. There's no life for you except for the fact that you're dead. All right? You would live by yourself. You are dead, 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 dead. So, to be honest, there is no hope for you if you have leprosy. All right. So, with this story, we're going to talk about Jesus with the lepers. All right. And so, if you were a normal person, you weren't sick at all, you would not go anywhere near lepers. You would not touch them. You would stay away from them. The moment you see, it's like, you know how we feel with coronavirus? I say coronavirus, and like, oh my gosh, and we want to get scared and run away. That's the exact same thing with lepers, but worse, because you would definitely die if you got leprosy. All right? And so there's a man with leprosy, all right? And so leprosy is scary because if you have leprosy, you're dead. Let's read the story. A man with leprosy came to him and begged him on his knees, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Jesus was indignant. I'm sorry, actually, I want to change the version. Let's start again. A man with leprosy came and knelt in front of Jesus, begging to be healed. If you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean. So there's two things: heal me and make me clean. He said, moved with compassion, Jesus reached out and touched him. I am willing, he said. He healed. Instantly, the leprosy disappeared and the man was healed. Then Jesus sent him on his way with a stern warning. Don't tell anyone about this, and said, go to the priest and let him examine you. Take along the offering required in the law of Moses for those who have been healed of leprosy. This will be a public testimony that you have been cleansed. But the man went and spread the word, proclaiming to everyone that what had happened. As a result, large crowds soon surrounded Jesus, and he couldn't publicly enter a town anywhere. He had to stay out in the secluded areas. But people from everywhere kept coming to him. Okay, let's start off. What did this guy have?
Leprosy.
And what was so
Leprosy.
bad? What was so bad about that?
That
He was
he
gonna
was gonna die.
Yeah, you have it, you're dead. You're dead.
And he may not talk with anybody that doesn't have
His family.
leprosy.
Yeah, you've lost contact. There's no phones, there's no texting, there's no mail. You are done.
There's no WhatsApp.
Yeah, you were dead.
Instagram.
All right?
There is not messenger.
But think about it. You don't want to touch this person. Don't touch this at all. But what did Jesus do?
Touch him.
He touched him. This guy comes to Jesus. You have no hope if you have leprosy. And he comes to Jesus and he says, if you are willing. And he's not saying if you can. He says, if you are willing, which is a big difference. If he says, if you are willing, it says you can do it only if you want to. And if you want to, you can heal me and make me clean. And Jesus moved with compassion. Jesus sees the situation. There's no hope. He reached out and he touched him. He said, I am willing. I am willing. Be healed. And so what happens?
The man got healed.
The man got healed. Very good.
In the river.
So, because this man had leprosy, he probably had leprosy for years. And look at Jesus touched him. I don't know where he touched him. Maybe on his face like this, on his shoulder, something like that. But this would be the first time someone has touched him in years. Someone has lovingly just touched them, you know? Like, how does it feel when a really close person, you know, gives you like a pat on the head or a pat on the shoulder or a hug? This guy hasn't felt that in years. Hasn't felt that in years. And so it was kind of meaningful. But also, it was against the Jewish law to touch a leper. So if you had leprosy, and you couldn't touch a leper, it's against the law. That person means it's unclean, maybe because of a sin or something like that, but he's unclean. But Jesus didn't break the law, you know, because once he touched him, he was healed. So Jesus technically didn't break the law. All right, but then what did Jesus tell him to do?
Go to the river. And
Where does it say go to the river?
huh?
Where does it say that?
Sir, I cannot see too much the words.
Where does it say go to the river?
Send him on his way with a stern wearing.
All right, what did he do?
Don't tell anyone about stand. Go to the previous at the land assigned you.
What's that?
Take along of
Wait. Luis Mario, I want you to answer this because I don't see you. Luis Mario.
I think he's not there. With Mario.
Anderson. You
What
tell-
is that?
what did he tell him to do?
I don't know.
Read 44.
I wanna say,
I don't have Bible mistake.
You can't see my
in
screen.
the screen.
Mister, I know, Mister, I know.
I cannot see nothing.
Mister, I wanna read it.
Samuel, go for it.
He said,
Mister, I
Me,
send him on his way with a stern warning. Don't tell anyone about this. Instead, go to a priest and let him examine you.
take along the offering required of in the life of Moses for those who have been healed of leprosy.
And that's it?
Yes.
All right. So here's the thing. Lepers were never healed. If they were healed, it's because God did it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first, it was to honor the law of God, you know, because that was they're supposed to do. They needed to. They needed
To be healed.
doing this process, the ceremony at the priests, but also is going to show that an incurable disease had been cured. And these people are
Mister?
waiting for the Messiah. waiting for the promised person to come. And so this would be a strong testimony that he's here, that he came. But he had him go and tell the priests what to do. He told the guys to go to the priests. And that's important because one, he needed to honor the law. He still had to do what God told him to do before. But two, it just shows that God is moving, that the Messiah is here. So it's important that he went and do that because one, to honor the law, and two, to show that the Messiah is here, that the Messiah was with him. But did he do that? Yes, Caleb?
So the leprosy is like the cancer.
Yes, it's yes and no. With
It's
cancer,
not like the
it'll be
cancer.
curable.
Yeah,
It's just a really bad disease, you know? Like anytime you hear you have this, it's
like coronavirus.
no, it's more like hearing you, I don't know, leprosy was really bad. Basically, leprosy was saying you're gonna die.
That
Like
face
when
was so horrible.
we discovered the, how we say this in English?
Chikungunya.
No,
What? Dengue.
No.
no.
But it is so color.
I,
Send it
it's
to
because I
somebody.
don't know how to tell it in English.
Send it to somebody in Spanish or
Dos, when we discover it.
cough.
Yes, I think so.
No, it just ate your skin, man. Your fingers would fall off, your teeth would fall out, your nose would fall off. You had no.
The eyes.
Like when your blood make black and they need to cut your
Body
when
part.
everything where you have that.
No, you would basically your body would just fall apart, and you would die by yourself. You weren't gonna be able to be with your friends or your family. You were by yourself. You were dead
You will not
by
marry nothing.
yourself. There was no hope. And so that's why Jesus was moved with compassion, and so he touched them just to show that be healed. The guy recognized that Jesus had the power, and Jesus healed him, which was awesome. And so if you had leprosy, there was no hope. All right, but what did the guy do? Did the guy go and do what he was told?
Yeah.
Mario, you're back now. You answer my question?
Which one?
Luis Mario, where were you before, man? I was calling on you.
It's because my sister called me for something.
You're in class, though. You need to make sure you're in class. What did the guy do instead? He didn't go to the priest. What did he do?
He go to the priest.
I know.
He got he go to Jesus for asking.
Nope, read it. Verse 4.
I know, mister.
I knew.
I know.
The man went to spread the word, proclaiming to everyone what had happened. As a result, large crowd soon surrounded Jesus. He could not publicly enter a town anywhere. He had to stay in secluded place, but people from everything keep coming to him.
All right, so he made a mistake. Instead of doing what he was told, he decided to tell everyone.
He disobeyed.
Hey.
Disobeyed. He tried to help Jesus, but it didn't work. The result
Yes.
was that Jesus couldn't publicly enter a town anywhere. He couldn't publicly enter a town anywhere, which means that that affected what Jesus was going to do. It affected his ministry. But in the end, it never will affect God's plan because God still had a good plan. And that was that Jesus was going to die for our sins and save us. All right. But what should we do when Jesus asks us to do something?
Obey him
But
and
how
do all
should
that.
we do it? Exactly as he tells us.
Yes,
For example, if Jesus says, go pray for that person.
We have to pray
we
for that person.
need to go to pray for that.
I remember
person.
here, like 2 years ago,
Weird.
we went to, I don't know where, some people were in a place of trash, and we gave them food, toys, and I think we prayed for them.
Very
When
nice.
the people were in the place where they throw the trash.
That's good. And so you're supposed to do exactly what Jesus tells you. Not how you think you should do it, but exactly how Jesus tells you. And when he tells you to do it. Okay?
At the hour, at the second of that moment that he tell you.
All right. So that's a story about leprosy. If you this wasn't just the first time Jesus did this. There's many there's other times where Jesus healed a leper. Let's look at another one in Matthew 8. I'll read it real fast. Probably the same story. Yeah. The same story. And Jesus tells them to do the same thing. He says, go and take along the requirements for the offering, for being cleansed from leprosy. But this was going to show the priest that the Messiah was here. It was going to be evident that this guy was healed. And so there's also the story about the 10 lepers. Being healed from leprosy was huge. It means you had a life again. You had hope. If I was healed from leprosy, I would commit my life 100% Jesus. I would follow him wherever he went if I was that guy. But we know that Jesus does it, so we can still commit our lives. We can still follow him 100% and do exactly what he tells us to do. Not how we think we should do it, but how we should do it. All right?
Like Peter.
All right.
Yeah,
Like
all
Peter, right, mister?
right. Well, Peter disobeyed sometimes, but for the majority, yeah, exactly.